You can take it over.
Yeah, certainly. Hey, hi, Asha.
Hi,
How was
hi.
your day?
Hi, Amit. It's so far so good. How about you?
Uh, it was good one way. All right. So, Asha, can you tell me what are your core competencies areas?
Yes. So coming to my core competency areas, so that actually I worked in the last 9 years on the various kinds of buildings, leads in DevOps automation. So I was working with Azure DevOps and also on the Kafka engineering, setting up Kafka platform, working on migration of code Kafka platform from Linux virtual machines to containers using Kubernetes in container registry. I'm working on developing APIs and microservices to improve the platform on the user environments using technologies like Java and Spring Boot. Working on modernizing existing application platform enterprise and witness DevOps as a service developing these interfaces to the front end and setting up microservices API. Also, I got a good experience with the Kafka offset management, writing a script for the Kafka environments, responsible for working with the modernizing of the MVC application API. I'm also responsible for setting up Kafka backend systems. The DevOps API, training them with the also good experience with Kafka in terms of offset as well
Uh,
as.
I have okay. I have one question. You do you have more background on the infra side or DevOps side than the development? I mean, I hear a lot about DevOps and more of infra stuff than this. So, just I want to know.
Well, I'm mature DevOps engineer, working on the carpet, working on the Kafka design API. So yes, I have got a good experience with the on the image as a DevOps engineer with the DevOps automation APA as well as the cost API which is created there. So I think yeah. So I have been working with DevOps team members on a daily basis, understand the application and working with the real time application service which is deployed on the doctor permission teams which are created.
Okay, and this profile is more of coding and development. So, how comfortable you are with that?
Of course, yes, I'm comfortable with that.
Okay.
You can actually be comfortable in the Java development. I was actually reading various Java deployment and like with the Java integration, setting up into Java applications.
Okay. All right. So, what is the difference between ETL and ELT, and when do you prefer one over the other? Can you give me some use case?
Yes. ETL transforms data on a separate server, while the ELT, transforms data within the data warehouse itself. ETL does not transfer raw data into data warehouse, whereas the ELT centers raw data does do the warehouse. ETL is an older method ideal for complex transformations like with similar data sets and also great for prioritizing tasks and data.
So, for example, I have one Oracle database, one SQL database. I want to build syncing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and what happens? There are downstream applications, more than let's say 5 or 10. Okay, each has its own transformation on that data. So I want to do this syncing and consider the fact that there is existing data in the tables that you need to sync, and there would be real-time data which you also have to sync in a real time. So this is the scenario, and how do you approach about this? And there are 5 to 10 downstream application. It has its own transformation. So which approach do you choose?
Uh,
You get my question, right?
yes, yes. Yeah. So is the data on the premise system or it is on the offer my system? So like is the data on the ultimate system or is it on, uh, is it a prem or cloud?
Does it matter? I mean, let's say on-prem data. Source
Okay.
data is on-prem.
Okay. So in this case, what we will do is coming to the ETL data. So I would like to say, so first of all, we will start with the best in women on the application side. So in the deal, and actually look at the online analytical processing data warehouse, which accepts relational SQL database data structure in this case. So in this case, we will have a data cleansing and enrichment as well as a data transformation, which all occurs inside the data warehouse environment. So which is stored identifyingly in the data house, allowing multiple transformations. It will multiple transformations there as well as the Snowflake data. So we also take the digital transformation of the application side and look at how the processing server is actually taking the ELT transformation instead of that work and on data ingestion and understanding how these services are validated and identical platforms. So we can also check and see if there is a rich historical archive of generating business intelligence. So these factors make ELT more flexible, efficient, and scalable, especially for ingesting like data and large amounts of data. And say that you can also process some of unstructured crucial data which is there for semi-structured, and unstructured data is conveyed to the ETL, which is typically used for the structured data, and say that also for booming interpretation of unstructured data with the significant movements.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, let's say you have
Okay.
data
Okay.
from some heterogeneous data source and you want to pull it. To give you an example, let's say Oracle to SQL, you want to pull it.
All right.
So what kind of issues you envisage when you do this syncing?
Yeah, so for this, basically, if you want to pull from Oracle to SQL, so we need to look at the various kinds of SSL Oracle connector which is available there, and we will also check if there is any kind of schema transformation. So it did not say that. So if the schema transformation is not working fine, and there will try to resynchronize the SSL integration with the connection. We also see if there is any kind of column, any synchronization of the rows, but ETL performance, because if we have mappings and there is a bindings generated to the foreign key primary key data. So I think that is going to be also a big problem, because it will be totally created by that.
Okay. Have you worked with any kind of, you have done this syncing or a lot, I believe. Okay. So have you ever come across any enterprise architecture that you follow, or rather any architecture,
Yes.
enterprise architecture you followed in this?
So yes, so basically, go to the enterprise architectures for SQL synchronization. I would say that we can actually build a sync with the DBMS, with the ODBC, which can input schema. This condition, and you can synchronize the model with the live database in this case. So what will happen is that in the ETL, with the synchronization group, you can actually use GDBMS with the input schema environment for the input database. So we can also work in the model condition so that we have a DDL and data definition language with the ODBC connection, and say that on
Just
the.
hold on now. Actually, I'm asking about the enterprise pattern.
Mhm.
Any any enterprise pattern you have followed.
Yes.
I mean, there are
So
enterprise patterns. So you can name it. What enterprise pattern you followed?
so yes. I mean, like a model view controller or the. I mean.
That is not the enterprise pattern.
Uh, so So yeah, basically coming to the enterprise integration patterns, various patterns which are like focusing in our environment. So we'll using aggregate pattern as well as the process manager pattern. Where we are able to validate the message patterns in the application for serverless
Why do
environment.
we okay? Why do we need that these patterns? What it
So
ensures
yeah,
when we follow this enterprise integration pattern?
so basically, these patterns are used for integration. So basically, these are set of concepts that are used for best configuration integration between systems, applications, or data have been collectively referred to as the enterprise application integration. This really helps us to work on getting the best configuration on the data points and see if we have any kind of like I mean, any kind of interface issues.
Okay. Have you used any enterprise integration pattern?
Yes.
Which one?
So
And why? What was the problem that you had that solved by this integration pattern?
yes, so basically on the enterprise integration patterns using various patterns. So we were using the aggregate pattern. So yes, we were using various patterns. Like first of all, we will use in the asynchronous message architecture in this case. Also using the aggregate repair to for the data. So we will use the API integration with the environment. So the aggregate.
No, I understand you
Mhm.
have used, but what is the problem you faced? And for solving that problem, use the enterprise integration pattern.
Okay. So the problem was that we were having multiple inventory items. So these inventory items are actually, kind of sent to a remote push and pushback interface, which was a backend API integrated inside the inventory. So and then we had to go and do synchronized it. So once this was done, we have to work on the specific push bank data API. So this included as to have some issues with the information collection. Uh, so these correlated messages are not getting published with the single aggregate message to the output channel. So inside that we have a we have complete the condition of the aggregation algorithm, and this will help us to synchronize the entire data points on the runtime. So
So, when you have worked with Kafka, right? What are the core pillars of the Kafka?
So yes, basically come up with architecture of Kafka. We bought the various components in the Kafka, which includes but not limited to the asset management. And then we have the Kafka cluster with me of what consumers and producers do, multiple topics and brokers. And we also have Zookeeper of getting the Kafka broker ID as you as transaction data and logs. We also have a topic which is used inside the container of getting the messages from backend as well as from the upgrading the offset value and save that and then transaction application.
Okay, so how Kafka cluster is different than the Kafka broker?
So yeah, so Kafka broker is just like a process which is it is working on a specific mission, right? I would like to say
Mhm.
like so it's actually like cluster is a group of multiple Kafka servers, and the Kafka broker is a service that it will receive and send data is a couple of day like it is a broker will have a certain topic uh, partitions in inside their time.
Have you ever come across the rebalancing? I mean, consumer risk partition rebalancing. So
Yes.
what requires that,
Yes,
or
yes.
why this happens?
So, so basically, what will happen is, so basically, the rebalancing happens when there is a loss of one of the production rebalances struggling. Like when we add a new consumer to the group, the new consumer starts consuming messages from the partitions. So partition rebalance is triggered when we add this new consumer from partitions previously consumed by the consumer, and maybe when partition rebalance is also triggered when the consumer shuts down of crashes, and these partitions it used to consume will be consumed, or one of the remaining consumers, and the topic is modified. But the rebalancing which is also triggered when the topics of depends on that was modified and say inside the application data.
Okay. Let's say you have partition Kafka topic. You are having a consumer which is consuming from that topic. Okay. Now there are lag. You see the lag on the consumer. So what are the potential problems that are leading to the
Yes,
lags, and what are the solutions to it?
yes.
Tell me whatever, whichever problem. I mean, as many as you think of.
Okay. So yes, the potential problem is that a lot of messages may go into the waiting state. Apart from that, also the consumer configuration rebalance max phase will actually expire. So if the set of consumer changes while rebalancing is taking place, the rebalancing will fail and retires. So the setting the rebalance max retires. So maximum number of items before giving up, I would like to say, and also the default values for in this case, if you have a lot of consumers or like which are coming up, I think it's going to be a big problem for the application data points.
Mhm. So, okay, you told me the issues, but
Mhm.
how to remediate? What are the
Um,
solutions for each of the problems?
so, so for regions of the Longford Festival, what we will do is we will actually change some parameters like the configure rebalanced backup ms, which is a matter of time in milestones between retires during during the balance, and also default is 2000 milliseconds. uh, so which is actually pulled out on the reconfigured the balance and a backup id on the broker idea of the matter. It's a matter of time
Yeah.
which is added
Okay.
there. Yeah.
Okay. Let's say you have a partition. It has you have a topic. You have seven partitions.
Mm-hmm.
and you have only one consumer. Okay. So how it will actually process the messages?
So 7 partitions and one consumer, right? Um, so if you have just one consumer, then I think it will actually look at various consent partitions in the multi-consumer data points. So what will happen is that so in this case will be Kafka single consumer will actually collect routed in the round robin manner. So in a single consumer, multiple partitions will be divided into each others. The consumer in the divide group by partitions is fairly amongst themselves as a possible by establishing that each partition is the only consumed by single consumer from the groups. So when the number of consumers is low, then the partitions will automatically, I mean, actually to be going to read the messages from one partition across multiple environments. So in this scenario, the single consumer is going to read all the partitions that I have consumed is known as exclusive consumer. So this happens only when the consumer groups have Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I believe the number of partitions should be equal to the number of consumers. Should the number of consumers, consumers be created, the excess consumers will be idle and you know. Wasting the client resources is the number of partition is greater than the consumers, so it will read from the multiple partitions, which should not be an issue or the presence of debt. And then you will actually use message ordering, which is required in this case. And we will use to maintain the message origin for the consumer if it is subscribed only to the single partition in the real-time API on the deployment side.
You have used microservices?
Sorry, what's the question? I missed it.
Have you used microservices?
Yes.
To consume the Kafka?
Yes.
Topic? Okay.
Yes.
So let's say there is a message which is you are unable to process in the service. Okay. So how do you handle the errors, or how do you handle that situation?
So
It is unable to process. Yeah.
yeah. So in this case, I would like to say that the errors can be handled using various kind of cloud automation and excuse. So we can have a highly available routes, which can be the front end and the back end side in the application. So in this case, we can use the data which is entered in. Setting the entered in setting the highly available deployment. So if the primary is down, it can go to the secondary one.
No, but how do you are consuming a message, okay, from one topic, one partition. You are unable, your consumer is unable to process that message. So, so I don't know how do you this way approach will help you.
Hmm. Heading in this case, this will actually go to the front end, and then we will be routed. Delete Kafka does not guarantee ordering of messages between partitions. It does not provide ordering within a partition. Therefore, what will happen is that the can manage the message will be the consumer, uh, like. um if it is subscribed only to a single partition, if the message ordering is required, in this case the message will be already is in key, key to be good during processing. So within given consumer group name, you will currently launching the single customer to eat from the topic data. So from there, the next two automatically actually look on the lesson partitions and also work on the Kafka consumer provision, the next consumer partitions.
Okay. What kind of design patterns you have worked with?
So basically, I would say that. I worked on the model view controller and also MVVM pattern.
Those are typically not considered as basic design, fundamental design patterns. Those are built over the top of these.
So yes, yes.
I'm more asking in terms of fundamental
Okay.
design patterns.
So I have been using the singleton design pattern, and I have also been using the design patterns like abstract factory pattern and also the fundamental design pattern. I have also been using the factory design pattern, also called good experience with the prototype pattern and builder patterns, as well as the composite pattern with the decorator pattern on the application side
Um,
area side data.
I'm not sure you're reading it or you're answering it because the patterns you have told, I mean, people don't implement so many patterns. I mean, so can you tell me where you use factory pattern
Uh,
or the prototype pattern?
no, no, no.
Give me the use case where you use that.
And basically, we have just been reading in the previous environment for the implication. So I have been using the factory pattern for the application side. So we were using prototype pattern in our environment for the use case. So in this case, in the prototype pattern in Java, we were using a lot of resources. So we had an object which was actually getting a lot of database requests in the prototype pattern. We are actually providing a mechanism to copy the original object and set it for modifying it according to the needs. So multiple applications are calling when the data points in this case. This included but not limited to looking at the new object for the prototype item. The Java and memory for deep copy of the object properties, which depends on the requirements. It was a design decision for the application and integrate that the database environment.
So how do you differentiate between deep copy and shallow copy?
So yes, the main difference between the deep copy and shallow copy will actually go ahead and change the object with the reference address, reference address. Very shallow copy, original copy will be not changed in the reference letters, and the deep copy to copy of the original object and the representative copies are also both are stored in the shallow copy. The copy of the original object is stored, and the only reference at the address is copied inside of that. So the shallow copy, the changes made in the copy object also reflect the original object and say this to the object values.
All right. Asha, I'm through with the interview. Do you have any question?
So, may I know what are the next steps after this interview?
There would be subsequent discussion with the manager or program manager, and there will be a client interview. I mean,
Okay.
if you are selected.
Okay. So, I just want to know, like, what is the team size and what is the day to do?
Uh, Basically, team is under building. I mean, we are taking over something. It's a development kind of work. It is a center for the central team, which actually governs or drives for the other application teams. It's more of a framework
Okay.
kind of work.
Okay. That
All
sounds good.
right.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Thank
Thank
you. Thank you for your time.
thank you.